Today, what we're talking about is telephone integration for Microsoft Dynamics 365 and model-driven apps. Telephone integration is um, one of our add-ons that we have. And just to give you a little brief background about what it does, telephone integration kind of acts as the middleman between Dynamics 365 and your phone system. Okay, it basically allows you to capture and track phone calls, whether that be incoming or outgoing phone calls. Has a caller recognition feature, so if someone dials in, they're in your dynamic system, it's going to pull that up and actually allow you to pull those records up, and a phone call activity when you answer the phone via screen pops. It allows you to create phone call activities, cases, opportunities straight from the telephone integration balloon. And that's like one of its, that's a really nice little feature to have, so you don't have to be zooming around in Dynamics the entire time. It also offers simplified dialing. One of the things is click to dial, which we will show in the demo. But basically what that is if I'm on a record and I want to dial a person's phone number, all I have to do is click the little phone number field, and it'll pull the telephone integration balloon up and make that phone call for me. Another feature that we will not be covering today, but it does also offer power dialing, so you can do power dialing from a list that you create. We have done a webinar on this before, so I would suggest going to our website and checking out our previous webinars, specifically the power dialing one if you're interested in learning more about that. Another nice little feature that it has is call statistics and call analysis. Basically what this does is it utilizes the Dynamics 365 dashboards. There are some out of the box charts that we've kind of made for outgoing versus incoming calls, what we're calling from, whether it be accounts, contacts, leads, etc. But then you can kind of take all that information, if you're familiar with charts, and use that and kind of develop your own little chart, so you can do your own call statistics and call analysis with that. Just a couple of things over here. These are the major phone systems that we do support. We also support SIP and TAPI. So if you don't see your phone system here, it doesn't mean that telephone integration won't work with your phone system. It probably will. One way to kind of find out without actually having to go through the entire install of the telephone integration product is we've released a test tool. And what this test tool does, you can download it from our website, from our knowledge base. You download that test tool. It kind of takes you through a step-by-step process and kind of makes an outgoing and incoming call, etc. And we'll let you know if your phone system will work with telephone integration without even having to install. So it's a really nice little handy tool. And if there's some kind of issues, you can send us the logs and we can kind of find out what's going on to kind of help you with that. All right. What we're really here to talk about today is the new UI redesign that we've had in version 10.3. Version 10.3 is available for Dynamics 365 9 and up. Okay, so pretty much if your Dynamics 365 is online, you probably are version 9. So this will definitely work for you. You can see here the major difference here. We've kind of just made things, we've kind of brought things a little bit up to date, made it a lot easier to read, easier to work inside the balloon, and just made the overall appearance just look a lot better. And so we'll show you all this here in just a second. So what I'm going to do now is flip over to my demo system here. All right, and what I'm going to do is kind of show you where the telephone integration client kind of lives. So once I start it up, you'll see down here my system tray pops up my little telephone integration icon. I give it a second to connect to my dynamic system. And it just takes a brief moment. Right now you can see that it's not connected, but it will do so in just a moment. There we go, it's connected. So I can now click on that and open up the telephone integration balloon here. All right. So you can see here I have a nice little call history of all my calls, but I can narrow that down to my answered calls, my dialed calls, and calls that I actually missed. Excuse me. Again, here, I can pull up information from Dynamics as well. I can use this little search feature here. You know, you see it in the background here that I have it already open, but I'm just going to search for Alex. Okay, I go ahead and do the search, pulls up the information from Dynamics, and I can automatically go ahead and just click the dial right out of this. So I can click here. Let's see, I want to call him on his business phone. I'll just click right here. This is now going to take a second. It's going to dial out. Lets me know that I'm calling Alex. Gives me some basic information about him. And then once the call is then connected, it pulls up a new phone call activity. A lot of this is already filled out for you. So all you really need to do is enter a subject, a description of what you talked about, etc. And there you go. You have your phone call activity, and everything's already associated with the record here. This activity is already associated with the record. So that's really all you have to do. One other nice thing that it does here is it keeps running count of basically how long you were on the call. This can actually, with a little bit more configuration, you can actually take this once I hang up the call. It works in the background, and then it updates the duration here for you. So that's something that you can do. A couple other nice little features that you have. Of course, you can hang up from here or here. You can also transfer the call as well, straight from the balloon here. So pretty easy to do. So I'm going to go ahead and hang this up and get rid of my phone call activity here and kind of close this down. So usually, you know, a lot of us are actually working out of Dynamics here. And let's say, for example, that I do want to call Alex, and I want to call, I don't want to pull up the balloon or search for him or anything like that. Basically, what I can do here is take his business phone, just give that a little click, and then it pulls up the telephone integration balloon. Again, makes the phone call. Again, then pops up the phone call activity, which I can then again fill out. So let's say that I'm talking to Alex here. And, I was calling him about, one particular case that I was working on with him. Let's say, for example, he's got another issue that he's run into, and I need to open up a new case for him. So instead of having to go back and, go in there and make a new a case and associate that with him, I can just come over here and right-click his name, go down here to the new entity. I'm going to create a new case for him. Just click it, and it brings it right up. Again, the most important things are already filled out. It's already associated with Alex. Give that case a title, fill in my information. Another nice thing is the origin comes from the phone. It already has all that stuff kind of filled in here. So I can actually get all that new information from him, save that, and again, it's already associated with him. So that's one of the nice little features. Another thing that you can do here, of course, not only can you do a case, but there's the ability to do an opportunity, create a new contact, create a new account, or create a lead right from the balloon. You also have the ability to do activities. So let's say that I'm done with this case, and I need to follow up with them in 3 days. I can set myself a new task, or set up another, like a phone call activity that I'm going to be making to him. Like if I have want to work with the power dialing list, I can set that up right from here. Great. So let me hang that up. So now we've seen a couple of different examples of what an outgoing call looks like. Let's check out an incoming call. So for this, I do have to go into the settings because I am actually using my simulator here. So let me pull this. These are all the settings here. So I'm going to just kind of pull this over to the side and go ahead and pull up my piece to simulate calls. And this is something that actually comes with the power dialer, so I can so you can test this as well yourself. But let me just put in this number here. All right, I'm just using Alex's business phone. I'll go ahead and close this just so you get the full effect. I'll go ahead and call in. Now, this is quite interesting because you see this actually resolves here to two records, right? So one is the account, the other is the contact. One nice thing about this is that, say, for example, I answer the phone, you see this sticks around. What this gives me is the opportunity to identify who I'm calling and actually pick the correct record. because let's say, for example, it's not actually Alex calling me from Northwind Traders, it's someone else, right? So what this allows me to do is then I can actually select the Northwind Traders account, okay? That pulls up my phone call activity here. It also pulls up the account as well, which it's loading still. So there we go. Here it comes. Any second now. A lot of y'all know that if y'all do demos yourself, if you have a demo system, usually it's relatively slow. But anyway, so I can enter this information here. And let's say, for example, this is a new person I'm speaking with. I can actually quickly come over here, and this would be where I would want to create a new contact. So I could create a new contact for the Northwind Traders account straight from here. All right, so it's very versatile in what you can do with it out of the balloon. It makes things a lot simpler, right? And there we go. There's my Northwind Traders account right there. So I'll go ahead and hang that up. Now, something that did come up, and one thing that I do want to show you is the fact that, you know, usually people say, well, what if someone calls and I don't, you know, the number is not in dynamic. So let's say, for example, I get a phone call from this number here. So I'll call in here. So we'll go ahead and close the balloon out here. Get a call in. So I've got an incoming call from this particular number here, and no matches in dynamics have been found. What this then allows me to do is I can answer the call. And what this does for me, I have it set up to where I wanted to open a new contact record. So I can, you know, get that person's name, get all their information, get all that into dynamics. Okay. One thing that you can do, and I'll go ahead and pull this over, is that is something you can actually set. So if the caller's unknown, you can set it to an account, contact, or lead to open one of those new records if you want to. Again, all this is configurable. You can configure this client side, or there is a setting inside of Dynamics itself where you can configure it globally across your organization if you want people to do it a certain way or have things happen a certain way. Okay? So let's see here. That basically brings me to the end of the demonstration of this and the new UI here, things that you can do in the new UI. Yeah, so I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And oops, I want to thank everybody for joining today. Again, you can find us on the web at mscrm-addons.com. AppSource, you can get a free trial from AppSource. Just go to AppSource, look up telephone integration. You can pull that, you can do the installation there. Again, though, my recommendation is to actually go to our website, and here you'll go to the support website. Just go to our main website, hover over support, go to the knowledge base, and do a search for test tool. That'll actually bring up the TI telephone integration test tool, where you can actually test your phone system first against basically against the test tool. Sorry. And see if telephone integration is actually going to work for you. If it doesn't, if you have some kind of issue or something like that, reach out to us at support@mscrm-addons.com. We can kind of help you out with that. So